must to parenting. So one, teamwork amongst the caregivers, right? Everybody should be, whomever is caregiving the children should be on the same page or close to the same page. And if they're not, they need to work with one another before they address the child, right? So that's really important. And it's a little bit difficult with co-parenting families. That's why I have a separate free Zoom for co-parenting. But as best you can, you have to be on the same page. So in this example, you and dad are not on the same page about, well, I don't believe that he's being responsible. Now, I want to split the difference, because if your husband were on, I would be like, oh, because I love it when a parent gives more options and availability to a child because they find that they're responsible. But we wouldn't put a 1-year-old on the side of a hill and tell him to walk. So I think that the answer to your question is yes. And yes, I like that your husband is saying, hey, he's really responsible with his way. And leaving, allowing your child access to their phone overnight when they're, under 15, I wouldn't do it. My daughter keeps her, she keeps her phone. My daughter's 15. My daughter keeps her phone overnight, but I turn off all the social media and all her texting. She is actually currently telling me, I need you to trust me. And because she's 15 and she's going to be a sophomore in high school, I have to stop and think, okay, it's important for her to believe that I believe in her, right? But she has shown me, to your point with your partner, that in the last 4 years, she's been pretty good. She's never broken into, I know that she could break into my phone and figure out how to increase her time, but she never has. So the answer to your question is, allow your child to show you that they are responsible. And if they are showing you that they're responsible, then we give more and more and more and more openings for them to be independent and autonomous and adults. Because the hardest part of this age group in middle school is that it's the very, very beginning of us letting go and letting them crash and burn by themselves. So nobody, even the video gaming industry does not recommend for anybody to play video games for more than 3 hours, no matter how old they are, because all the good stuff that video games do, like problem solving, hand-eye coordination, social communication, creativity, decreases after 3 hours of play. So I would keep that in mind. And then this is an opportunity for you and your husband to sit down and have a communication about your fears, his sense of seeing his child and trusting him, and then getting back to your child. Okay? That work?
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what happened with our 15-year-old. I mean, he made some mistakes in middle school. Now he's extremely responsible and stuff. So he earned that, and we let him most of the days sleep his phone. But with the little guy, the 13-year-old, he's just he had made some poor choices, and that's what we said. You just need to earn it, and that kind of thing. But I have a hard time with 2 o'clock in the morning, because to me it's like, goodness gracious, that's too late. But
that's hard. That's anybody under 15, they have a very hard time delaying gratification, delaying pleasure. They're still very impulsive. So again, I would not give it, if you take the phone at 11 o'clock, or you turn off his ability to go on WhatsApp and Instagram and all the things, so the phone is pretty much useless when he's sleeping, and then they earn it, and you give him an opportunity. But he is young. And we're setting him up for failure because a 13-year-old has very low impulse control. They control their impulses 40% of the time. Only.
Okay.
So if they have 10 interactions, only 4 times can they control their impulses. For pleasure. Yeah. So we have to be careful. So that's what I always tell parents. I would not put a 1-year-old on the side of a cliff because they just learned to walk.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
All righty, perfect. All right, any other questions? Let's see. There's questions in the Q&A, so I'll do it. Oh, okay. The question is, what app do you use to turn off her social and texting? If you have an iPhone, you go to settings and you go to, so if you have, I can't see it, the computer. So if you have a cell phone, you go to settings, and then when you go to screen time right here, right? You can have a family account. And there, when you open the family account and you add your child because you pay for their phone, there's app limits right there. So settings, screen time, if you don't have your family in there, include them. And then you choose the person that you're doing, and then that's for an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, Live 360 is very popular with parents. It's a little bit of parent crack because it gives you more information than you need. It tells you where they are, and like you can, I'd rather you do find my friend or whatever. But with Live 360, like the radius of the earth where they are. But Live 360 is very popular amongst parents, and it's a great app to put on all the phones so that you can manage. And yeah, but once you turn that off, it turns off, and if they want an app, like recently my 12-year-old son wanted Spotify, but Spotify is 13 plus. So I have a limit that he can't have apps that are 13 and over. So they have to ask you for, hey, can I have this app? And then you say yes or no, and then use your fingerprint instead of a code, because the children find out the code. What are other 2 musts? Oh, sorry. I was giving you the 3 musts of parenting and then I got sidetracked. I do that. Thank you for the question. Okay. The 3 musts of parenting are teamwork amongst caregivers. Caregivers include abuelas that are always with you, and uncles and aunties that are helping you caregive, coaches, teachers, and the other parent. And we got to make sure that everybody's on the same page and that everybody is doing and stating the same values and rules that we're helping teach our children. The other one is consistency in how you respond. Now, consistency in how you respond is way easier in the younger age groups, because in the younger age groups, we can, it's time for lunch. It's time for playtime. It's time to do your homework. But with this older age group, the consistency in how you respond to the rules has to have a wiggle room, kind of like, addressing Georgina's question of, okay, but our older child showed us that they were responsible, so they earned more things. So in that case, the way that I think about it is the consistency of that is your middle schooler understands, I can earn more freedoms. I can earn more responsibilities. I did not come up with this. This is from a doctor in New York. I love her. I'm sure if we met one another, we would be fast friends. She has a podcast called Raising Good Humans. I love that podcast. Me and her are the same person. It's just that I speak Spanish. And she has a group called Seedlings in New York City. And I saw her talk about this, and I think it's a great idea. Sit down with it as it pertains to consistency in this age group. So that's the, must number 2. you sit down with your child and you say, all right, let's sit down and think about all the freedoms that you want, right? All the freedoms that you can imagine, right? And you have them write it out. Blip, 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 right? And you do that. That's your first column. In the second column, you say to, and then you could, you know, sometimes they're going to be like, I want to make my own breakfast. And you're going to be like, wait, what? You, like that? I did that with my son, because the minute I heard her say that, I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. He wanted to make his own breakfast. I was like, wait, what? I don't have to make you breakfast? Right? So for him to make his own breakfast, I had to teach him how to make the egg in a safe way. Remember, he's 12. And I had to kind of like point out different things and do the knife. So we decided, okay, if you want to make your own breakfast, then these are the things that you have to learn so you can have that freedom, right? And that's what you do in your 3 columns. What is the freedoms that they want? What has to happen so you can have that freedom? And then in the 3rd column, then we say, okay, right? They're going to write other freedoms that absolutely not. So until you're 16, until you're 17. So the requirement is age, right? But then now your child has a map, and now your child has goals, rather than you just saying no. Because when you say no without an explanation in this age group, they take it upon, they take it as you not believing in them. Because they're trying to launch, they're trying to grow, they're trying to, between 12 and 14 and a half, between 12 and 15, they're playing adult. 15 and older, they should start feeling more like adults, and you have to let go more and more and more. And most people do the practicing to be adult in high school, and that's too late. It's now that it needs to happen in middle school. So the second must is consistency in how you respond, and doing this list can help you a lot with that consistency. And the third must of good parenting is routine. And this is important from when they were born all the way until they leave. Why is it important for the middle schooler and the high schooler? Your routine. We have a family dinner, 3 out of 7 days at 7 o'clock. They can plan around it. They can plan their Roblox game with their friends. They can plan, watching Hamilton for the 15th time around your dinner, and it helps them with their autonomy. So if their routine is predictable, their mala cara is whatever. Because you're not, sometimes in this age group, we're still treating them like school age children, and we're just telling them, okay, let's go. And they had an idea, they had a plan, because they're trying to be autonomous, because they're trying to be independent. And that's when you get into this like big fight. So so routine, consistency and response, and teamwork are the 3 musts of parenting. All right. Any other questions? Type it in the Q&A, type it in the chat, raise your hand. Anybody else? What other questions do we have today?
I have a question.
Yes, go for it.
Okay. So my ex-husband and I are not on the same page, and most recently I learned that he's been speaking to my daughter about changing the time sharing. And so she is requesting more time sharing, and primarily because of a shift that happened because of COVID. And so I want her to know that I'm hearing her, and I'm trying to make an effort to give her more time, more quality time with dad. But I've been 2 days back and forth with dad, and there's no solution, which is not unusual. And he refuses to go to therapy. He refuses to go to mediation. He refuses everything. I just don't want to spend a fortune, on someone who is not flexible at all. So what can I do on my side, to have communication with my daughter and explain to her, look, I'm okay with you spending more time with him, but I don't want to, send you over to his house when he's not even there and you're just spending time with the girlfriend, which is exactly what's happening right now.
Okay. So here's a really, really hard rule of co-parenting and divorce. Your daughter, how old is she?
She's 11.
11. Okay. So this is a really hard rule of co-parenting and divorce. So I want you to take a deep breath and hear me out, because what I'm gonna say is gonna sound mean, okay? But I mean well, because I'm protecting your 11-year-old. Whenever we disagree with the co-parent, that's between us and the co-parent. So your responses to her are, baby, I know you want to spend more time at dad's, but we haven't been able to agree on what that looks like. And as soon as we agree, I'll let you know. And then that's it. Why, okay. Lina? Why do I have to say that? Why don't I have to explain about the girlfriend? Why don't I have to explain about,
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm a divorce coach also,
yeah.
But with this particular situation, that's fine. I mean, I don't really get into all of that.
So until you have a clear, understanding, the message to your child is, I'm so sorry, I know how disappointed you are, but Dad and I have not come to an agreement about what time you're going to spend. And then it's back to what I was saying before. It sucks, right? Because you know all the details, but we can't do that to her, because then she feels in the middle, right? The more information we give, especially to this age group, the more they try to problem solve, but it's a problem that need not be hers.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So it's really, and then always include yourself, even though you want to shoot him in the head, right? We have not been able to communicate. We have not been me and dad. Even if you're biting your tongue and saying, I hate this, right? And I mean, reason 185 where you're not married, right? So it becomes difficult. So that's a hard one. And the other piece I kind of want to throw out there is, your daughter is trying to have a relationship with her father.
Yeah. And that's where I feel torn, because it's and I was trying to explain to him, I'm trying to structure it to give you more time. I'm extending you an olive branch, but he wants it he's not okay with it's either all or nothing, and from my perspective, I just want to take baby steps, and say, okay, let's do these 2 days, or, let's structure it, but then we swap for 2 other days, and he doesn't want to do that. So, then and from my perspective, it's frustrating, because I'm trying to facilitate that. I know that she wants more love from him, and I get all of that, and I want to facilitate the relationship for them, because I really, at the root, I don't have anything against him. I don't hate him. But, at the same time, it's just, I'm kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, because it's all or nothing. And I'm sure on his side, he's thinking the same thing. She wants it her way or no way. So then we're at the impasse again.
You're at the impasse right now. Yeah. So as it pertains to your daughter, continue to give her the message of, I know how disappointed you are. I know how sad you are, but Daddy and I can't agree. Okay. And I know how unfair this is. Right. Okay. And then just let her have the sadness and the disappointment. And then continue to work with your ex on, she loves you, she misses you. Can we come up with something that works for both of us? That's about it.
Okay. That I haven't said to him, so it's all helpful, so thank you.
Yeah, she loves you, she misses you. Can we make this work for both of us? And then and to your child, just continue to be the bad guy. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
I'm holding you in love and light, because this is really, really hard. So,
thank you.
I know in a couple of weeks, I'll have strictly just parents that are co-parenting. Okay. So I make, I do age groups, but your world, you and twin parents parents that are co-parenting and parents of twins have particular things that parents that are in either a single parent or in a relationship don't have to deal with. So I hold you in mind. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, perfect. Okay, I like this question. Okay, so let's see. My 12-year-old knows too much about sex, and he continues asking me questions about it, and I always open widely to him. Is this okay? I'd rather give him the correct info rather than him to explore somewhere else. Ah, yes, Mom! Woo! Okay, for the rest of you, here's a scary statistic. Most boys in the United States will see pornography by the age of 10. So, you know, because back in the day, I mean, I'm 48, so I'm a little bit older than the rest of you. Back in the day, you had to sneak into the 7-Eleven and steal the Hustler magazine to see a little boob and to get to know about sex. So statistically, what we know, Trisha, is that speaking about sex is statistically proven that for your children to make better choices, because anything that they're wondering about, anything that they don't know about, anything that they're curious about, if you don't answer it, the Google will. And when you go to the Google, you get all sorts of information. So make sure that you're talking to your son about sexuality. And we always kind of stay with the sex, but sex always comes with relationship, right? So in this conversation about sexuality, bring in the topics of relationship that you as a mother value for your child, and the other parent of your child, if there is another parent, make sure that they also share the values that they see around sexuality, but also partnership, because sexuality rarely comes without the issues and the things that we deal with in relationship, right? Every once in a while we have one-night stands, but if we want to give your child a full picture, make sure that you're also talking about relationship. Later today, if you want, go to the website and go to the blog area. And I did a whole Facebook Live with Christy of Los Tweens and Teens, which is this like beautiful platform about raising children in this age group, right? And me and her did this whole thing about talking to your kids about relationships. So if you want to hear more about that. But yes, you get a big pat in the back, but remember to also discuss about pornography, sexuality in general, both the physical aspects as well as consent, and you know, getting pushed to do it, as well as relationship. Add all of those pieces to sexuality, and yes, you've done a good job. And yes, your child will be safer with their sexuality, and now he doesn't have to go to the Google. And wow, I can't believe that a 12-year-old male went to his mom to ask about sex. So that says a lot about you and your relationship with your child. And you wrote, I have 10 years, a 10-year-old too, and he is getting all the info from his older brother, but want to make sure it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. We should be starting to talk about between anywhere between 9 and 12. We should talk about their physical body, the physical aspects of sexuality, the penis. You know, for the girls, it's about menstruation. For the boys, it's about hair and shifts in puberty, and, you know, waking up with an erection, and what to do if they get a sudden erection, because that starts happening. Also about pornography. Unfortunately, you got to talk to them about it. It's very, very important. Okay, so there's one more question because we have 10 minutes left. What about when you let them know, when you let them go with their friends, but when you ask them about it, they don't want to give you details and they are rude? Okay, Georgina, you're not gonna like my answer. They're not supposed to tell you what's going on with when they go and be with their friends. That's really hard in this age group. And you know, the question to ask your child when they go and are with their friends is like, did you have a good time? Yes. Was everybody there? Yes. Cool. Okay. What do you want to have for dinner? Who was there? What did you do? What did they say? Was Joseph there? I heard that he's smoking pot, and that's not a good thing, and I don't want you smoking pot. And oh my God, was Susana there? Because she is a little, no. Did you have fun? Was his mother there? Did you say thank you and you're welcome? And did you clean up after yourself? But what happened detail, he's pushing back because I'm going to say it. Ready, Georgina? I'm sorry. You're invading his privacy. Looking in their phone randomly whenever you want, not invading privacy. That's your phone. You are paying T-Mobile, you are paying AT&T, and you are keeping them, remember what I said, healthy and safe, right? You checking their phone, you could do that. That's not invading privacy. Because you gotta check if the Pornhub is in there. You gotta check, quickly, what some of the texts are about quickly, right? And randomly, because guess what? Google does that to their employees. Apple does that to their employees. But going in and zeroing in on their private time with their friends, one more time, you're sending the message of, I don't trust you. I don't trust you, and I need to hear everything that you did, because if you tell me everything that you did, then I can have an opinion. And this is the time when I want most of you to send the message that I trust you. I trust that you're gonna be in the world living the values that I have given you thus far in life, including your 13-year-old. And I love you and I trust you. Because if they think that you don't trust them, if they think that no matter what, we're gonna act like they're bad or like they're breaking a rule, they're gonna get a case of the F-its, put in the bad word, F-it, right? And then they're gonna break the rule, even though they wouldn't have if we would have told them, I trust you. I'll give you a little, this is very manipulative. This is me being a mental health professional. I always tell my children, okay, guys, I trust you. And if you break the rules, I'll never know, but you will. And I always say that to my kids. I'm not perfect, but it works. All right, so we have a little bit of time. Any more questions? Any more concerns? Oh, thank you, Luli. Luli wrote that, it has been an experience that it's been hard. They appreciate Lina's recommendations. Thank you, Miss Luli. I love you too. Any more questions? Okay, so, and everybody can talk. So hold on, there's one person that I didn't allow. So if you wanna unmute yourself, you can, and ask me any question if you have one. Yes, yes, no, no. Okay, so that's it for today then. Thank you for this free Zoom. If you absolutely love me and you want to have me all to yourself for an hour and a half where I listen to everything that's going on in your home with your children, and I do a very individualized response to your particular questions, sign up for a parenting consultation with me. Currently, because of everything that's going on, I have dropped my rate from $300 to $250. So this is a good time to come see me if you want to save some dollars. And again, it's an hour and a half where I do what I just did, but just for you, your family, your child, with individualized answers and questions for you. And my force of resistance, my favorite service in my entire program, the online parenting support. I do this. I get on a call every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, and I answer 6 questions and give those 6 questions 10 minutes. And here's the little tiny secret. When you do that with me, you can sign on, and when you sign on, you can do just 1 month, think about it, and hear 4 years worth of questions that I have answered. But there's a private Facebook group where you can ask questions overnight at 3:00 in the morning when something has happened, and I will answer your questions within 24 hours. The only day I don't answer is on Sunday, because from Saturday at 4 until Sunday at 4:30, I turn off all of my digital equipment and I don't get on. So those are the only days that I don't answer questions on online parenting support. So I'd love for you guys to join that. And the very, very free way to see me and to join me is, of course, on social media. I know some of you found me on social media, so you can follow me on Stop Parenting Alone and Facebook, Parenting Relief if you are a Twitter person. And you can follow me, Lina, myself, with all my musings and all my ideas on Parenting Expert and Instagram. So again, everybody, thank you so much. And until next time, I'm going to keep doing these free Zooms until the December. And then in December, I'll see if I keep them up. And hopefully in the next one where I talk about middle schoolers, you all can be on that one as well. Okay, so bye-bye. And thanks everybody for being on today.
Thank you, Lina. This was amazing. Thank you.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Besitos to everyone.